My name is Fernando. I'm a advisor here at Excel with Mitch Cook. So he's gonna be keeping an eye on me, making sure that things are running smoothly and technology is also running smoothly, especially if we're teaching you guys, about technology. Okay. So today's presentation is going to be a little bit different. So this came from conversations that we've had with clients that have retired and felt like they couldn't keep up with technology, especially after leaving the workforce. So one thing to keep in mind is that technology isn't about becoming an expert. It's about making it work for you. So making your life easier before and after retirement, right? And again, that's gonna be the key, making sure that you guys get that technology down before you reach retirement. So once you get to retirement, you can just cruise with it. So as always, this presentation is for educational purposes only. And yeah, so let's talk about it. So retirement is not what it used to be 10, 20, 30 years ago. Technology has become a huge part of our everyday lives, and that does not stop when you retire. So what do we use technology for? Well, to keep an eye on your money, whether it's your bank account or your investments. When you go to the doctor, now they use my charts and you can see everything that the doctor told you and medication and everything through your portal. We also use it to speak with family members, whether they're just a couple hours away or they're many hours away. Maybe you wanted to learn something new and now you have the time to do it. So that's another one. One of my favorite is the travel ones, which we're talking about that a little bit later. And then we can also use that same technology to help you stay protected, because you'll be surprised how many ways there are for people to try to, do harm to you, whether it's, take your, steal your identity or your money or whatever that would be. So let's talk about how you can use technology. So technology is going to help you stay independent longer. You can't make it to the doctor's office because you're either too sick or too old to drive. Guess what? Now, many doctors offer telehealth, whether it's just a quick call to see how you're feeling, or maybe a virtual call like a FaceTime or like a Zoom like this, right? We also have wearable tech that can track your steps, your heart rate, especially if you suffer from heart problems, your sleep, or one thing that Mitch was sharing is that there's another way that you guys can help protect, whether it is your parents or grandparents. There are ways that you can use this technology to not only keep track of them, but also send them reminders through that tech. So then we also have reminders, right? And that's the one that I'm going to need, especially when I get older, because I forget everything. Sometimes I go into another room and I feel like I know what I was there for. And as soon as I step into the room, I'm like, what was I here for? Right? So making sure you have tools to help you, it's going to be great. This next one, I bet a lot of you either have used already or are going to use right after this. And we know the basics, which is going to be like Uber and Lyft, that can take you from point A to point B. If you cannot drive or you just want to have some fun with your friends out at the pubs or whatever, again, have somebody else drive you. Now, this is a little nugget for you guys, okay? I don't have to, but I'm sharing it with you guys. And I was sharing with Mitch earlier. If you have a credit card, which a lot of you should have one, if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, they actually offer a whole year of DoorDash for free. That's a $120 value plus a $10 credit every month for you guys to order, right? Now, again, this is not a paid advertisement, but I feel like I should be getting something just for letting you guys know. And again, whether you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred or you have a American Express, all these different companies have different benefits. So make sure that you guys are checking out, because I know a lot of people just open bank or credit cards and then they just forget about what they can get, right? Get your money's worth, right? Get, whether it's a discount or whether it's a free membership, make sure you're taking advantage of it, especially if your credit card has a fee, okay? Now, the last one is going to be my favorite, and that was turning my home a little smarter. And let's take a closer look at that one. So making your home a smart home has many, many advantages, from safety to convenience. So having a smart, whether it's a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector that sends alerts to your phone, but also alerts the proper departments like fire department or whatever, it's going to, save lives. Then you also have security cameras or maybe a smart garage door system. So you can leave home knowing that you can always check back and ensure things are good. So you're probably asking, okay, this sounds great and all, but one, I'm either too old to figure this out, or how can I actually get into doing it? So you start with getting a hub, and that's going to be either an Alexa, or many of the other voice assistants like Google, you name it. I mean, there is so many out there. And then you can hook up nearly anything to these devices, from smart plugs to smart switches to thermostats. And my favorite is going to be the smart light bulbs. And you guys are going to love this one. So obviously, I was cheering for Mexico in the World Cup last week, and as I think I was either out in the yard and I came back in, and my wife had the smart light bulbs turn into the Mexico flag. So now, not only are we wearing our jerseys, but we have the whole atmosphere inside the house ready to go for the World Cup, right? And you can also change, again, not only the colors, but if you're already laying down in bed and you're like, you know what, I'm too comfortable to go to the living room and check if the lights are off, you can just tell Alexa, hey, Alexa, can you turn off? And I hope nobody has Alexa around them, because if I keep saying Alexa, probably going to bother you. But you can just tell, hey, Alexa, can you turn off living room? And then there you go. It saved you the trouble of getting up, going and checking, and then coming back. So that's one way. Then we also have another one. So when you leave the workforce, you get less exposure to new technology, and your skills do become a little bit outdated. So how can you stay current once you reach retirement? Well, this is going to be one of them. So the next big thing that you guys have heard is AI, whether you're using it right now or you're planning on using it. Some people love it, other people hate it. I like it. My wife, she cannot stand me going on AI and using it. So again, you have two types of people that really love it and use it, other people that are like, I do not want anything to do with it. So do your own research and decide for yourself whether you like it or not. So hopefully what I'm going to tell you here in a little bit gives you a bigger idea of how you can use these tools. So we have tools like ChatGPT. This tool can be not only a teacher, an assistant, even a researcher, right? You're having some issues figuring out how to work an app, and you're like, you know what? I don't have anybody near me to teach me. You can, or maybe something at home broke, right? An appliance or something easy. You can just ask ChatGPT to create a step-by-step guide to help you fix it. Now, the beauty of ChatGPT is that you can ask it for a simple like Word document that has just words. Or for me, the way that I learn is by visuals. So I can just be like, hey, and you create a step-by-step with visuals, and it can create it for you. So Again, you have ways. Now another little nugget for you guys, which I feel like I shouldn't be because then it's gonna get more expensive for me, which is we are allowed to travel, right? Guess what? You can also ask ChatGPT to plan your trip and recommend activities. One way that I used it last month, I was in Pennsylvania and we were near Gettysburg. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, I'm going to Gettysburg. Give me the best recommendations to do. And it recommended, where the battle took place and the museum and all that. And I mean, it was fantastic. Rather than going into Google and making my own research, I just had it do it for me. It told me, okay, you're going to spend 2 hours here, 2 hours here, 2 hours here. Bam, easy peasy. Another tool that I am guilty of having is going to be the smart glasses. That is a fantastic tool, at least for me, the way that I use it. So you can have full conversations with AI, but also you can use them to learn. So you're in the garden and you want to identify a plant. You don't know if it's poison ivy or if it's whatever it is. You can just take a quick photo. You can ask, hey, Meta, what plant am I looking at? And it will tell you you're looking at a rose or you're looking at whatever. Another thing that I highly recommend these glasses for is, like, let's say if you were on vacation, you were in China or wherever, you can just tell, hey, can you translate that sign for me? And it will translate it into your ear. Another one that I actually put it to the test is I had my wife put the glasses and I spoke to her in Spanish and I told her to ask the glasses to live translate from Spanish to English, and it told her everything that I was telling her. So again, the possibilities are endless. But the one thing I want you guys to keep in mind, sure, all these tools are great and all, but they do make mistakes, right? So make sure that you guys are verifying all the information that you're getting from ChatGPT is going to be important. But also keep in mind that AI is only as good as the prompts that you put in there. So the more details that you share with AI, the greater the response or the better the response becomes. Okay. Okay. Now we talked about staying connected, whether it is with family or with friends. The key is to avoid isolation. And in today's world, that can be easily done, whether it's a Zoom call like this, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, or for you Android users, Google Meets. So retirement is the best time to learn, from languages to history to photography, or maybe you just want to get into bird watching, right? I know that's a big one that a lot of retired folks, they love doing, is bird watching. So remember, we mentioned the apps for traveling, right? If you're traveling soon, I need you to pay attention to this. So if you drive, you have things like Google Maps or Waze, and that can save you a lot of time in traffic. But also another thing that Waze does is that it's a community. So sometimes if you're going somewhere and somebody already passed and saw a cop, I'm not saying that it's good or bad, but it will alert you that there is a cop nearby. So it will save you from getting a ticket. So you can thank me later. Don't worry, I'll be waiting for it. Now, if you like to fly, if you're a flyer, you're like, I hate driving, I like to fly because I don't like spending, 6 hours on the road. Perfectly fine. Downloading the airlines applications are going to be very important. Now, I get it. If you're old school and you like to go into the desk and get your paper copy, that's all great and dandy. But then there goes 15, 30, depending on how busy the airport is, it could be even longer. Now that you could have used that time to either use the restroom once you got into the terminal, or maybe finding some snacks, which is exactly what I do as soon as I get into the terminal. I'm going to the snack section and getting me some sweets for the plane. Now, why not just open the app, check in 24 hours before your flight, and have your ticket ready to go right there on your screen. Now, I get it, you're like concerned. Well, what if I don't have Wi-Fi or connection once inside the airport? Well, guess what? You can also save it into your phone's wallet, or you can just take a screenshot. So as soon as you get into the gate, you can just show them, they scan it, and you are through. So again, you have that. So we also have the hotel apps. So sometimes, especially when I travel, I'm too tired to just go and check in at the front desk. One of the things is I can actually check in. So depending on the status of like whatever hotel you're using, you can check in the day before. You can pick your floor, which I normally go to the top one because I don't want noise on top of me, especially if they have kids just running around, right? So I like to be at the top floor, and I get to pick my room. So I like to also stay away from where the cars pass by. I'm a very picky sleeper, so yes, I like to pick my own room and make sure that I'm where there is no noise and there is no light. So yeah, and then you can just head upstairs into your room and unlock your door with your phone, right? Easy peasy. Now, if you do want to go back into the desk afterwards, then go for it. But again, it's something that you can skip. Now, this next one is by far my go-to. I cannot travel unless I have this right here. And that is going to be either global entry and TSA pre-check. For those of you that have flown before, you know what that is. For those of you that haven't, it lets you through TSA a little bit quicker. So let's talk about the global entry. If you're flying internationally, the last thing you want is getting stuck in customs for 1 to 2 hours, right? Coming back into the US. With global entry, you're going to be through a lot faster than you would if you didn't have it. So again, it's just going to save you time, a lot of time there, and hassle, because you're already approved. The government already knows who you are and that you've been verified, that you did, the proper requirements, got your fingerprints, whatever, everything they got for you. Now, the TSA pre-check, if you're not traveling outside of the country, is just going to be also a lifesaver there, because it won't, I believe now they don't make you take your shoes off, but back in the day when they did, if you had TSA pre-check, you were able to keep your shoes on, and you didn't have to take your electronics out of your backpack. And then you were holding the line up, which is why, again, TSA pre-check was so long. Now, because I like to travel with TSA pre-check, I think the longest time that I've spent going through TSA has been maybe 5 minutes. And I think the quickest has been like 30 seconds. Like I literally just show the person my ID, I'm through, put my stuff on the scanner, go through the self-scanner, and then I'm inside the terminal, like quick, right? So you tell me, is it worth it, right? They both have different prices, but I think they last either 4 or 5 years. So you don't have to renew for 4 to 5 years. And I'm telling you, it will change your life. Okay, so now you're retired. Now you have a lot of time on your hands. What now? Did you ever see a movie trailer where you're like, oh my God, that looks pretty good, but you just never got to it because of work and whatever else? Well, guess what? Now you have time, and now you have many streaming services to help you find whatever you want to watch, whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus. I mean, it's endless. It's endless, the things that you have. Now, again, if you are into podcasts, you can find those, Spotify. One that my wife and I like to listen to when we travel more than 6 hours. It's one called the Armchair Anonymous. I mean, we can listen to that for literally 6 hours straight. They are fantastic. They're so funny. So again, but you can find anything from funny to maybe you want to learn something, find it on Spotify. Or maybe you're into reading, but you don't want to carry a book. Well, guess what? You can download books either on your phone or a tablet. So again, options. Or maybe you have some other interests and you also have online communities. Like I said, there's a lot of people that do love bird watching, or maybe they're into old vehicles. Guess what? Go into Facebook, you will find it. Okay, so let's move into some of the financial tools that you can use or you would be using in retirement. So, downloading your banking app. They have a lot of resources for you guys that you did not even know they had. Just kind of like the credit card stuff, where you get certain credits. Well, guess what? Same thing with the banking apps. You have so many things to keep you not only protected, but secure with everything that you do out there. Definitely have your retirement portal app. That way you can keep an eye on your retirement funds as well. Now, if you're concerned with budgeting, there are apps out there to help you with that as well. And just help you keep track of your spending. Now, many scammers will be targeting your retirement money. So having the right tools and protocols is going to be important. But also make sure the most important thing is just to keep your passwords safe. So let's talk about that right there. So how can you protect yourself once you're in retirement, whether if you're using more technology for that? So convenience is great, right? Everybody loves convenience, and technology gives you that, but protection matters just as much. So you have to be aware how scammers are targeting you and your money. They can make calls impersonating an institution. They send a text or an email that look very real, and you will be surprised how many people fall for these scams and lose every penny they ever saved. Okay? Now remember, no legitimate company will pressure you to act immediately. So if you have questions, you can either hang up and call the main line and just start over and make sure, right, before you give out any personal information to anybody. Now, the next one, keeping your password secure, like we talked about, try using the two-factor authentication. That is as easy as a simple text with a code, just to verify that it was actually you who requested the signing. You know how many times I've gotten text for saying, hey, here's your code to sign in into Instagram. And I'm like, I have not tried to log in into Instagram. So then I go and change my password just to be safe. Another thing is if it's freezing your credit cards, identity theft is also a very serious thing. And retired people are also, in danger of that as well. So like I said before, scammers love targeting retired people because they just don't know better. If it sounds too good to be true, it is probably a scam. There are many ways for scammers to get your money. So let's talk about some of those top scams right now. So let's start with the basic. They will call you pretending to be Apple support or Windows support and ask for access to your device. They'll send you a text with a link, and as soon as you click that link, what's going to happen? They're going to have full access to your phone and everything in it, from pictures to accounts. I mean, you name it. They're going to have everything that you have on your phone. They also, target, Medicare or pretend to be Medicare and Social Security. If, like I said before, if you're in doubt, hang up and call the main line. Okay, do not be giving out your information unless you were the one reaching out to them, okay? So another one, so the last two are going to be very important, okay? So make sure you guys are paying attention, because the more people that I talk to, the less aware they are of these next two. So with AI is every day is becoming a lot better. So AI has made it very easy for scammers to reproduce somebody's voice. And then they will tell you, hey, it's your grandchild or another family member, and we are in this situation and we need money for whatever reason. Sometimes, actually, most of the time it works. They'll be like, hey, I need money to, to bail out my cousin James or whatever, right? And then there goes grandma sending them $1,000 because they want to bail out James. So always double check with family members before you are sending any money to anyone. Now this last one is going to be probably the one that's been taking a lot of traction here in the last year and two. So you will receive a package at home, and inside the package is going to be a very cheap gift with just a small card that has a QR code. And underneath the QR code is going to say, hey, scan to see who this gift is from. And as soon as you scan that QR code, they got you. All your data stolen. Which is why, again, if you are walking around, don't just be scanning anything that's on the wall. If you don't know where that source is coming from, do not scan. Okay. So again, if you do get some packages from an unknown person with no return address, and you have that QR code that says, hey, find out who sent it to you, do not scan. Okay. So here's a couple of things. So the goal for today was to help you, to let you know that you have resources, help you not only stay current with technology, but also keep you and your money protected or your data protected. So here's a few takeaways for you guys to have some peace of mind. So make sure that you're always a strong password. Do not avoid using your name, 123, right? Anybody's gonna guess that. So make sure you guys get creative. And if you're going to write it down, make sure that you guys are putting it somewhere safe. Another one is making sure that you turn notifications on all your accounts, especially like the bank ones. That way, if there's an unauthorized activity, you can go back to the bank or the credit card and be like, hey, I did not authorize this. And then you don't have to pay for that, right? So make sure you're turning on your notifications, keeping your device and your applications up to date. Especially now, they keep, fixing bugs and everything. So you have to update your apps probably like every other day, which I hate, but it is what it is. Now, if it is too good to be true, ask before you click, right? Always check where the call, the text, the email is coming from. You know what they said, better ask questions. Wait, what was I going to say? I don't even know what I was going to say there. But anyway, do not click that if you don't know where it's coming from. Now, the last one is going to be, again, you're learning new stuff, right? If you download a new app, start with one, get comfortable with that one, and then you can move on to the next one once you've gotten comfortable with that. So start with one app at a time. Do not get greedy. I get it. There's, new apps coming out every single day. Just start with one and go from there. And yeah, no, so that's pretty much it. If you guys do have any questions or want to start your financial planning journey, know that we are here to help. Here's our contact information. If you're like, hey, I actually like what you said about, TSA pre-check or this or that, send us an email. We can talk more about it. But like I said, you guys have that Q&A, the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen if anybody does have any questions. And we can go from there. Also, we are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So like the presentations like today, they get recorded and then they get uploaded into YouTube. So make sure that if you're like, hey, I want to hear back what you said about whatever, you can go back and rewatch it as many times as you want. But with that being said, Mitch, do we have any questions that came up?
No questions,
No,
Fernando.
no questions.
I think you did a really good job. You know, one of the biggest things that I know that I've been utilizing, especially AI, as you pointed out, you know, with vacation planning, the itinerary, asking it to put together, you know, a 4-day agenda and a location and what you're interested in doing, and it is amazing on what it can pull together for you. So, if you are one of those individuals that maybe you do want to try it out, and with vacation plans happening here this summer, um, give it a whirl. You know, I think that's a good way to dip your toe in the water on trying how AI could work for you. But as you pointed out, Fernando, all this technology, it's great. Definitely I have at your fingertips, but being aware of all the protection, the security things, all those things are important too.
Well, awesome. Any questions came up while we were chatting?
No questions. I think we are good.
All right. With that being said, we'll let you guys get back at it.